A Canadian has been killed in Peru, Global Affairs Canada saying the death is related to the murder of an 81-year-old village elder in the southern part of the country. Freelance journalist Dan Collins joins us now from Lima. So Dan, what can you tell us about the death of this elder?
Well, her name was Olivia Arevalo. She was an 81-year-old shaman or healer in the Shipibo Conibo indigenous community. It's one of the major indigenous groups in the Peruvian Amazon here, and this is in an area called Ucayali, which is in the central Amazon of Peru. What we understand is that she was, according to police reports, shot dead on Thursday in her village by a man who has been identified as a Canadian citizen. Initial reports indicated that he asked her to recite an Icaro, which is a song used in the traditional treatments of ayahuasca, which is a medicinal plant used here as part of the Amazonian culture, at which point 2 shots were fired in the air and 3 shots were fired into her chest. She's understood to have died instantly, and initial reports indicate that the suspect escaped on a motorcycle.
So the suspect escaping on a motorcycle, as you say, based on reports, but also described as being a Canadian. What are officials saying about the Canadian, quote unquote, who was killed?
Well, here in Peru, the Peruvian police and also the media are identifying this Canadian citizen. It is understood that he was a Canadian who lived in the area. He had, according to reports we've seen on the internet, used crowdfunding to pay for a trip to Peru and was actually living in this particular part of the Peruvian Amazon in the main and the regional capital, which is called Pucallpa. He had sought crowdfunding to try and come to Peru to learn about native medicine to treat a drug addiction. And it was clear that from police reports that he was known to the community. He was this indigenous Shipibo Conibo community. And of course, as you will have heard in Canada, a video has emerged, a camera phone video, which shows this what appears to be a Canadian citizen in a situation where he's being beaten and lynched by a mob in the same community in which Olivia Arevalo was killed. Now, police are saying that 1 kilometer from this spot, the body was found in a shallow grave. It has been exhumed, and it is being an investigation is currently underway with the Peruvian police and also the Attorney General's office here in Peru.
A deep corner of the Amazon jungle has turned deadly for a British Columbia man, and tonight police in Peru are investigating the murder of Sebastian Woodruff, hunted down and killed by a mob which believed he was responsible for the death of a respected tribal elder. As Natalie Collada tells us, among the lines of investigation now being followed, Woodruff may have been wrongly targeted.
This gruesome series of events began Thursday when Olivia Arevalo Lomas was shot to death at her home. The Shipibo Conibo elder was a revered traditional healer, spiritual leader, and indigenous rights activist. It's not clear who killed her, but quickly rumors spread targeting a Canadian.
The relatives of the woman distributed a flyer with a picture of a Canadian citizen and the name. The police hasn't confirmed yet that he was in fact the person who murdered the woman.
But that didn't seem to matter. The man in the flyer, reported as Canadian Sebastian Woodruff, was lynched by a local mob. His murder filmed, circulated online, too disturbing for us to show. His body then partially buried. His remains were found Saturday by police.
Hello, my name's Sebastian.
Woodruff came from British Columbia and documented much of his personal journey on the web.
I just decided to just drop what I was doing, and I'm going to make a career change to become an addictions counselor.
The father of one set up this crowdfunding campaign to go to the remote area of Peru to study the healing properties of herbs of the Shipibo culture, writing, "My personal pledge is that I will learn, retain, and share this knowledge." A friend tells us Woodruff went to the area several times to experiment with ayahuasca, a hallucinogenic plant.
A good number of his community here were really trying to help him come back and ground into the fact that he was a father and had a family and had purpose here and should stay away from going down there.
Yarrow Willard said his friend had a big personality, was seeking deeper meaning, and wasn't violent. He doesn't believe Woodruff could have killed the indigenous leader.
We've just been in shock, and so it's pretty traumatic to hear, and it seems really unrealistic. It just felt like it was a scam because there's no way this person seems capable of that.
While police named Woodruff as their main suspect, local media report police are investigating other theories about the crime, including another suspect altogether. In a statement, police say they're investigating Woodruff's body for gunshot residue to see if he fired the gun that killed the medicine woman. Natalie Collada, CBC News, Toronto.
Let's take a closer look now at the Peruvian tribe and the remote village, now a focus of this double murder investigation. The Shipibo Canibo have existed for thousands of years. Almost 40,000 of them live in a corner of eastern Peru, modern-day guardians of the Amazonian rainforest. Many have died defending their land against the onslaught of illegal loggers and the palm oil industry, fighting to keep alive their rich culture and traditional knowledge through textiles, arts, and singing medicine. Part of the healing ceremonies involves the use of ayahuasca, a natural drug that produces intense psychedelic effects. As for the murders, still lots of questions about what exactly happened. Prosecutors in the region saying that they won't rest until their investigation is complete.
Sebastian Woodruff orders arrest of 2 men over lynching. A judge in Peru has ordered the arrest of 2 suspects in the lynching of a 31-year-old Canadian man in the remote Amazon region last week. A video uploaded to social media showed Sebastian Woodruff lying in a puddle while 2 men put a rope around his neck and then dragged him along. Police later found his body buried in a shallow grave. A local prosecutor says Mr. Woodruff may have been killed because locals suspected him of murdering a healer. Shaman's murder. The spiritual healer, 81-year-old Olivia Arevalo from the Shipibo Canibo indigenous group.
Bienvenue sur TV News où l'on vous garde informé. Cliquez j'aime, n'oubliez pas de partager nos vidéos et surtout n'hésitez pas de vous abonner à notre chaîne YouTube. Sur notre programme d'aujourd'hui, une vidéo assez violente, le lynchage d'un Canadien au Pérou. Il répondait au nom de Sébastien Woodruff et a été assassiné par lynchage dans l'une des régions amazoniennes du Pérou après que les résidents de la zone isolée l'aient accusé d'avoir tué une de leurs chamanes âgée de 81 ans. Selon la police, Olivia Arevalo, une femme de la tribu Shipibo-Konibo qui utilisait de la médecine traditionnelle pour soigner les gens, a reçu 2 balles et est morte jeudi dernier à côté de sa maison dans la région amazonienne d'Ukiali. Comme vous pouvez le voir sur la vidéo, nous voyons Sébastien gémissant dans une flaque d'eau pendant que l'on lui met un nœud, une corde autour du cou et le traîne devant les villageois. Les habitants ont attribué l'assassinat à Sébastien, un citoyen canadien âgé de 41 ans qui lui aussi vivait dans la région et qui était l'un de ses patients. La police a retrouvé le corps de Sébastien enterré dans une tombe à 1 kilomètre de la maison du chaman samedi dernier, après que la vidéo ait été publiée sur Internet vendredi. Merci d'avoir regardé une autre de nos vidéos. Comme d'habitude, vos opinions et vos commentaires sont les bienvenus. Merci pour
Canadian accused of murder is lynched in Peruvian Amazon. A Canadian man was lynched in the Peruvian Amazon after he was accused by members of an indigenous community of killing a local spiritual leader. Police found Sebastian Woodruff's body after video of his lynching on Friday was shared on social media, Peruvian prosecutors in Ucayali said. Officials had launched a search for the 41-year-old after the murder of Olivia Arevalo, 81, near her home. The Shipibo-Konibo tribe's healer was shot twice and died on Thursday. We will not rest until both murders, of the indigenous woman as well as the Canadian man, are solved, Ricardo Palma Jimenez, the head prosecutor in Ucayali told Reuters. Controversial Peruvian gas arrives in UK. Indigenous community in Peru suffers after oil spill. Peru profile. Some members of the Shipibo-Konibo community in the northeastern region had blamed the indigenous rights activist's death on the Canadian national who lived in the area and was believed to have been one of her clients, Mr. Jimenez said. It is not yet known when Mr. Woodruff arrived in the area or what he was doing there. Arevalo's murder sparked outrage in the Peruvian Amazon rainforest, as it followed a number of unsolved murders of indigenous activists who had repeatedly faced death threats stemming from their efforts to keep illegal loggers and palm oil growers off native lands. The authorities were exploring several hypotheses related to the traditional healer's murder but said it was too early to name suspects in the case. There have also been no arrests in relation to Mr. Woodruff's death, whose body was found buried about 1 kilometer, 0.6 mile, from Arevalo's home on Saturday. Video footage found by the police shows a man groaning in a puddle near a thatched roof structure. Another man then puts a rope around his neck and drags him while onlookers stand by. Mr. Jimenez confirmed the man in the video was Mr. Woodruff and that an autopsy revealed he was strangled to death after receiving several blows to his body. Pope warns of threat to Amazon peoples. Peru's minorities battle racism. Policing is thin over much of the Peruvian Andes and Amazon, with villagers in far-flung provinces often punishing suspected criminals according to local customs and without the involvement of state police and prosecutors. Canadian authorities extended its deepest condolences following the reported assassination of Olivia Arevalo Lomas, an Indigenous elder and human rights defender. Without confirming any identity, they also said in a statement that they were aware of a killed Canadian national and were providing consular services to the person's family.